What's going on, everybody? It's the 1796 boys coming at you again with another tier list. This time, we are doing SEC head coaches based off of how hot their seat is going into the 2025 season. So, you know, we're a month out from games being played. So, what better time to do that than now? Pretty
Yeah,
excited about this one, Ryan.
yeah, no, it'll be fun, a fun little exercise. And I think there's a lot of coaches who are under some pressure this year, so it'll be
Yeah,
interesting to talk about. So
this will probably be another one where we disagree on a couple uh, but this will be really fun. I'm looking forward to this, and it's not as long as some of the other tier lists that we've done, so we can actually like break it down and
yeah,
get into them a little bit more. So let's go ahead. Where do you want to start, buddy?
well, I was thinking just let's start at the bottom, just go
Yeah,
least to most interesting to talk about, and I think
for sure.
there's three coaches to me that belong in ice cold,
Can I
and it,
guess?
yeah, yeah, it's not too hard.
Obviously, Kirby,
Yep,
Sark,
bingo.
and Heupel.
Yeah, the three coaches who made the playoffs last year.
Yeah,
I mean,
sound
it,
logic.
it's pretty easy to me there. I mean, you get some good graces for making a playoff, so I think there's not much else to talk about there. I mean, obviously with stuff like this, a coach can go from ice cold to being on the hot seat in you know a year. So,
Right.
but as of right now, I think those three are pretty safe. The
Yeah,
safest in the SEC.
I think like I mean what you said was good as how as far as like they made the playoff last year. It's kind of hard to be any colder than that.
Yeah.
Um, But also a good way to look at it is if any of those three coaches had a terrible season this year, would they any of them be even remotely in trouble? And the answer is no. I mean, if something went horrible and Georgia, Kirby went 7-5, do you really think he's getting fired? Like, no, he's not.
No, and I don't even think of course, if a coach goes from playoffs to like 2-10 or something ridiculous here, there's a good chance that they might get fired. But 7-5, I think they would be in the middle range there at the getting warmer. I mean, it's just the kind of insurance you buy yourself when you make the playoffs. So,
Absolutely.
um, what about lukewarm? Who do you have in mind there, Bryce?
So this is kind of hard because this and getting warmer, could kind of be interchanged a little bit. I would say that honestly, Beamer is probably lukewarm.
I would agree.
I don't think Beamer is going anywhere. I mean, I think he definitely bought himself. So since he's going to South Carolina, he's 29-22, but they won 9 games last year, overachieved.
Yep.
I think it's fair to say they overachieved. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, if you really break it down, they could have easily been 11-1.
yeah.
Like the only game they really got, you know, lost by more than 2 scores is that the Ole Miss game. And,
Well, and I mean, I kind of made it like a thing last year, like a hill I was dying on. Indiana ended up making the playoff, right? And I said South Carolina would have been favored over Indiana on a neutral field.
yeah, I mean that's not ridiculous to say. I mean, if it wasn't for that horrendous call on that pick six that they got against LSU in the first, I think that was still in September, in the early part of the season, I mean, they would have been in the playoffs. I mean,
Yeah.
It would have been a conversation between Tennessee and South Carolina probably. So,
Yeah.
but thank God they lost, and we were a shoe in. So, but another guy I would put there is Clark Lee. When you go 7-6 at Vandy and beat Alabama, I think you're pretty safe.
I mean, yeah, that's about. He's done as good as you could possibly expect a Vandy coach to do.
Yeah, I
I do.
mean,
I
go
do
ahead.
think. No, yeah, I think you're right. Even if they win 4 games this year, I don't think he's. I think he bought himself like 4 years at least with last
Yeah,
season.
yeah. I mean, besides James Franklin, he's the most competent coach Vanderbilt's had in our lifetime. I don't
Yeah.
think that's a stretch to say that at all. So, anybody else that you're putting there?
Yeah, there's two more, I think. Lane, obviously, because you're not going to – I don't think Lane is going and getting warmer because he's the best coach Ole Miss can get, I think. I don't think they're going to be in any hurry to get rid of him. I mean, and if you look, so they were another team like South Carolina that was very close to making the playoff last year.
Yeah, but
and 44-18, I mean, 44-18, 3-2 in bowls. I don't think he's getting warm.
I think he's close, because they would have been 10-2 or 11-1 even if they just took care of business in games they were supposed to win. You know,
that's true. Like, that's probably annoying. Like, he has a game or two every year that like really screws them.
I mean, losing to 4-8 Kentucky at home, which cost them a playoff spot. I mean, I think if you would have stacked up their resume versus Tennessee's with having beat Georgia, they could have gotten in over us. But thank God they lost Kentucky at home, and then they really blew it at Florida in November. So, you know, I'll concede to lukewarm, but I had him in getting warmer just because he hasn't really taken the next step, and he's 2 years ahead of Heupel down there. So, or a year ahead of Heupel.
I agree with you in a vacuum. Like, I think if he was at a program that had more resources, I would definitely agree with you. I just don't think Ole Miss is gonna.
Yeah, it's Ole Miss. They haven't won anything. I think they claim a national championship in the 1960 or something, but for the vast majority, yeah, the vast majority of the last 75 years, this is the peak for them. Besides like Archie Manning, so I'll concede to lukewarm, but I do think, like you said, it's getting pretty annoying. If I was a fan of theirs, that they lose to teams they shouldn't to cost them doing something bigger. But last there, I think we're in agreement that it's probably Dorkwitz.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same story. When you go 10-3 at Missouri, you've won 10 games plus in back-to-back years at Missouri, you're pretty damn safe.
Yeah, I mean, Missouri fans think Dorkwitz is like prime Don Shula, so
yeah,
I don't think he can be any higher. I mean, he's like 38-24. Yeah, 38-24, 2-2 in bowls. That's pretty elite for Missouri. I don't think they're getting rid of him anytime soon.
Yeah, as annoying as he is, you got to admit that he's done a pretty good job there at Missouri. So, anybody else in lukewarm for you?
Oh, yeah. Kalen, probably. What do you think?
I don't think so.
You already gave me one. So we'll ride with your opinion here.
Yeah, I think we can exit this tier.
Okay.
Getting warmer, I had.
This is tough because it's going to be tough to differentiate between the top three.
Yeah. The getting warmer, I had Kiffin and Elko, but we've already put Kiffin in lukewarm. Which, if we talk about it, I'll concede to lukewarm. So, but Mike Elko at A&M, I think belongs there. They started out the season, really good, and then they kind of fell off a cliff. I think that team kind of gave up on them in the first year. And you're at A&M. There's a lot of investment there, even though they haven't done anything. But
I mean, I definitely think Elko is perfect. Like, in that mid category is perfect for him because it's only been 1 year, and he did win 8 games and went to a bowl and everything. But you're right. I mean, he's got to find out. He's got to find, and some of this might just naturally happen in his second year, but he's got to be more consistent, and he's got to find a solution at quarterback. Are they going to roll with the Marcel Reed experiment again?
Yeah, I think Marcel was decent, but again, they fell off.
They were playing musical quarterbacks for a good chunk of the season.
Yeah, that's true. And besides that, the rest belong in the top. The last half of the coaches belong in the top 2 tiers to me, unless you have a.
Let me think about it. Wow. So wait, you think Kalen is in hot?
Yeah, I do. He's at
Really?
Alabama, and he lost to two 6-6 teams and lost to a 7-5 team in his bowl game.
So let me ask you this though: do you really think that Alabama would be that quick on the trigger? Because I know that winning is obviously everything, but don't you think they would be hesitant to like make a change that quick? Just because
No,
Saban was there for so long.
no, I don't think they would be.
Really?
No, we're talking about Alabama fans.
I mean, yeah.
I mean they're
So let's look at it. So if you look at last year, obviously the Vandy game.
horrible.
Yeah, I mean that can't happen. I mean, did Saban ever win after the first couple seasons? Did Saban ever go 9-4?
No, no. The worst record he had in a regular season was 9-3 after his first year.
And then probably won the bowl game, so 10-3.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's not good, but again, it is. I'm going to be completely honest. We're going to do it because this one's your decision, but I wouldn't put him in hot just because. I mean, you win 9 games. It's your first season, but I do kind of understand you have to weigh it against the situation that he's in.
yeah. I mean,
Like if he was at any other SEC school, probably I don't think you'd put him in hot, would you?
no, I'd probably put him in lukewarm if it was his first year and he won 9 games. But you're at the best program of the last 30 years.
Like if you win 9 games in your first year at like Auburn or Mississippi State, like
Yeah,
they're gonna like build a statue for you.
Yeah, as long as you keep it going. I mean, but they're not used to losing and ruining their season against two 6-6 teams. Like I think they can understand the Tennessee loss at Neyland in his first year, as much as they hate Tennessee, but to lose to Oklahoma, who was just that Oklahoma basically ran a wing T in that game and they ran all over them. I mean, I don't know if you. That's not hyperbole. That's what happened. Like Jackson Arnold barely threw a forward pass in that game. And
I would say that game and Vandy are just because that is a good point. I mean, you have to look at the whole picture. Like it's 9 wins, but the Oklahoma and the Vandy loss, especially, are not things that would have ever happened under Saban.
No.
So you get dinged down. You get dinged a little bit for that. But devil's advocate here. I mean, I know he's still using Saban to like Saban's basically still recruiting.
Yeah.
But they did have the number 3 class in 2025. So you can't you can't say he's a bad recruiter. In 2026, they're currently 4th. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are on the team and are going to be crucial parts of the team that are there because of him. So that, I have a tough time with that. But
I mean,
let me ask you this. If they go 9-4 again, do you think he gets fired?
Yeah.
But the losses aren't that bad though. They're not like they don't lose to Vanderbilt. Like it's like understandable losses. Like say they lose to Tennessee, the Iron Bowl,
at Georgia,
Ole Miss. Like say those are the 4 losses. Like it's nothing like egregious.
I still think that he's done if that happens. I really do. I mean, we're talking about spoiled rednecks who are not used to.
This has got to be a clip, by the way.
They're just not used to it. I don't think it's probably 50-50 if you think if he's in that hot tier or not. But I don't think it's a crazy thing to say that Alabama fans would not be very happy at 9-4. And
I mean, I got to keep remembering that you're factoring in the fan base here. Like,
yeah,
it's a spoiled fan base.
I mean, just imagine Bryant-Denny Stadium being like 2/3 full in the last game of the year because they're like 8-3 and they don't care. You think they wouldn't make a change?
Yeah, I mean you're making points. This is going to be interesting. I think we can move on from Kalen. This is going to be interesting how you're thinking on the next placement here.
I I know who else I'm putting in hot.
Who else? How many more do you have in hot?
3.
You have 3 more in hot?
Yeah. And 2 of them, it's kind of just because of the record last year, but they're not at places that are like huge expectations. But when you go 2-10 at Mississippi State for Jeff Lebby,
Okay,
I
so
know,
Lebby.
I know that they were devoid of talent, but you got to show some improvement in year 2. You have to at least go 5-7 to not get fired, in my opinion.
Honestly, Lebby's a clear hot. The rest of these guys could be on fire, and I wouldn't fight you on it.
Yeah, I also have Stoops in hot just because it's Kentucky 4-8.
Stupid contract, yeah.
I mean, but again, if you don't improve from 4-8, it wouldn't surprise me for him to get shit canned. And lastly, it's Brian Kelly in hot. Number 1, try winning your first game. And number 2, like, you're at LSU. LSU fired the guy who won a national championship for you. I think if he doesn't do anything this year, I think he's done.
Yeah, I mean, again, he recruits really well too, but losing Bryce Underwood, like, he might get fired for that. Like, that might result in him getting fired. So he won 10 games his first 2 years, and then he won 9 this past year. He's really good at winning meaningless bowls.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you could put him in on fire, but because he's a respected name and he recruits, I think hot is fine. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's fine. I think he has to make the playoff, though.
Yeah, especially a 12-team playoff now. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't think about firing him after not making it last year. But, like, just because it's LSU, and that's how I feel about these last 4 jobs, or the 3 of the last 4 names here too, except Sam Pittman. But we'll talk about that in a second. But, you know, losing Underwood, if Tennessee ends up flipping keys, or one of Tennessee or A&M end up flipping Tristan Keys, he keeps on losing recruiting. He puts up another 9-3, or, you know, 10-3 with a bowl win or something like that. Like, I don't know how much more they're going to take of it before they make a change.
Let's go through this. So, like you said, that first game, which, to be fair, they always have a tough first game.
Yeah.
But, like, and they're playing Death Valley for the first game this year. That's far from a guaranteed win. In fact, they're most likely not going to be favored.
No, I highly doubt it.
So, I mean, let's just say week 1 is a loss. You have La Tech, which you'll win. You should probably beat Florida at home. You'll definitely beat Southeast Louisiana. I mean, at Ole Miss, that's not a guarantee. Home against South Carolina is not a guarantee.
Nope.
At Vanderbilt, you should win. I mean, home against A&M is not a guarantee. At Alabama, you're not going to be favored. Home against LSU, you should win. Home against Western Kentucky, you will win. And at Oklahoma is not a guarantee.
No.
They have like 1 or 2 SEC like sure thing wins.
Yeah, well, tough shit. He's at LSU, so, you know.
I mean, it's not. I'm just saying, it's not. It's far from an easy, like, they're not a shoe-in for the playoff, is my point.
Yeah, but again, you know, you fired the guy who won a national championship to go get.
Yeah, I agree.
So he's going to have to do it at some point. So
let's
just real quick, last thing on Brian Kelly, he has the most accomplished and proven quarterback in the SEC this year. And
yeah, probably the number 1 pick.
He's supposed to be the offensive genius, so he's got to do something. Go ahead.
He also killed a kid.
Yeah, I thank you for mentioning that. I love to mention that anytime anybody mentions Brian Kelly. So
might have to cut that. I don't know. Cease and desist.
What do you mean cease? Okay, go on.
On fire. So let's rank this in terms of
most on fire to least on fire.
The furthest left will be the most on fire, and the furthest right will be the least on fire.
Okay.
So in my opinion, the most on fire is Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, I think it's a toss-up between him and Napier, but I think it's, you know, Auburn's shown that they'll fire a coach after 2 years if they don't like you, and this is
It's definitely, I think, well, that, but also, I mean, yeah, they shook Ken Harson, who
year
had
and a half.
he had a better record than Freeze does. But also, have you seen Auburn's 2026 recruiting class?
Yeah, and the whole thing about him saying him and his wife are golfing or doing whatever instead of him being on recruit. Like, yeah.
I mean, I know it's we're several months away from it mattering, but he's like 82nd.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to fly, especially if he starts to lose games. So,
well, that's not really normal either. Like,
no,
people will say it's like an overreaction, like it's early, but I mean, when was the last time Alabama was that low at the start?
I mean, even like the latest that you should have your hay in the barn for the 2026 class is probably end of August. Like, and then you try to flip or get last minute additions, closing in on December, and he's at 82nd, and we're about to flip to August in 3 days. So
yeah, it ain't looking good. And let's just, I mentioned his record's not good, but let's go over it. So it is 11-14. He went to the Music City Bowl his first year and lost. 6-7 his first year, 5-7 his second year. That ain't gonna cut it. I don't think anybody would have complained if he got fired after last season.
I mean, and especially if you go back and look at how they lost those games last year, just they invented ways to lose games last year.
He's lost to Diego Pavia twice.
Yeah, it's disgusting. And like we said, they fired Bryson Harsin after 16 games, 17 games, something like that.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I think the only reason he didn't get fired is because he's a known SEC name that's had success in the past. So it's put up or shut up now.
He also cheated like fuck in the past.
Yeah.
He did some weird shit.
He's definitely made a career out of beating Alabama twice, and one of those is very fluky. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't think he has to make the playoff or anything. Like, that's afar. But I think he needs to win 9 or 10 games.
Yeah, I would say at least 8 games, if not 9 or 10, yeah.
You have to win 8, and you have to be extremely competitive. Like, you can't get blown out in the Iron Bowl or anything.
Yeah.
So next, we'll do Napier next, probably.
I would, if we're going right to left, least to most hot, I would put Napier there, yeah.
Okay, so Sunbelt Billy, as he's affectionately called. He, since coming to Florida, 2022, he's 19-19, perfectly mediocre, 1-1 in bowl games. The only reason he's still there is because the players like him and he recruits pretty good.
I would say the only reason he's still there is because DJ Lagway gave them a shred of hope. So,
well, yeah, I mean, his whole future is relying on Lagway. I mean, if Lagway comes out and sucks this year or gets hurt, if he gets hurt and they go 6-6 again, he's toast.
Yeah, 100%.
There's a chance. So these two, well, you can't see my cursor. I don't know why I'm doing that. Freeze and Napier are the two that could easily get fired before the season's over.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think anybody else will, barring some incredible collapse. But these are the first two where there is a possibility they're not coaching in November.
10 years ago, I would say you're right. But now that the early signing day is a thing, if you don't fire your coach in the middle of the season, you're kind of screwed for the rounding out your recruiting class or trying to keep players home. So point. I wouldn't be surprised to see any of these 4 in the top fired late October, early November. So if things go, bad.
So what do you think Billy has to do to not get fired then?
Win 9 games at minimum. Lagway looks good. And maybe even same thing with Freeze. You got to be competitive in every other game too. So I think they're both in about the same situation.
What's going to be funny is, we've talked before about Tennessee hasn't won in the swamp since 2002.
Yeah, 2003.
2003. If that happens this year, that might be enough.
Yeah, especially if they're like, 7-4. So,
Yeah, if it's like their fourth loss, that might do the trick because the fans will not forgive that.
No, I mean
there's a whole generation of Florida burner accounts who wasn't alive the last time that happened.
Yeah, I mean that would certainly. It's one of the only things they have to hold over us right now is that streak down there. So if they lose that, they would not be too happy with the old William Napier. So let's talk about Venables now, because it interests me because I don't know if Oklahoma would even be. How many Heisman winners do you think Oklahoma would have if they had been in the SEC since like 2010?
Oh man, I don't know.
I would say 0. So I don't know if the I don't know if the expectations are matching, reality there, but I still think he's on the hot seat just because of mainly how the quarterback and the offense looked last year. And I know he's a defensive guy, but if John Mateer is not the man and they don't win 9+ games, he's done.
I mean, yeah, he is. I don't know. What were you implying there? Like, you think Oklahoma fans are like delusional?
I think Texas, to me, is better suited to play in the SEC than Oklahoma is. I mean,
I think Oklahoma has the defense.
Yeah.
I mean, Oklahoma's traditionally had good running games and good defense.
Yeah. But
they don't recruit good enough.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. And I don't know if he's the sexiest option there. I think Oklahoma could do better than him.
Yeah, for sure. They have plenty of money.
And I don't know. It's just I think they got drugged down to earth real quick. And I know people were expecting them to not be 6-6 in their first year in the SEC, but they sure as hell were. And they looked horrid in some of those games. So
to be fair, like devil's advocate, they did have their top 6 receivers out. Like they were playing walk-ons at receiver for much of the year, and that definitely is part of the reason why Jackson Arnold regressed, looked horrible.
Yeah.
But that doesn't fans don't really care about stuff like that, especially when you have the tradition and the history and the loyal fan base. They definitely have like the tradition and the fan base to be in the SEC. Yep. And they have I get what you're saying though. Like it just kind of seems like Venables is destined to end up as like somebody's DC. Like I don't really see this lasting much longer. He just doesn't seem, he doesn't have the charisma, the personality. He doesn't recruit good enough in the SEC. Like they're a fringe top 20 class school. And is that going to get it done? They're competing against Texas for this. They're competing against Texas for the same players. And, Texas is about as at the top as you could be right now. So that is something to worry about. You would think they would probably want to get a coach that, a flashier, big name coach.
Yeah. I will say that Freeze and Venables probably would have got fired last year if they didn't come up with miraculous wins at the end of the season. So credit to them for buying themselves, another year, because Auburn beat A&M, Oklahoma beat Alabama, so everybody was willing to give them one more spin of the wheel. But it's funny that they're connected, but in a little bit of a way there, because Arnold is now at Auburn. So now Hugh Freeze will be relying on the guy that Brent Venables couldn't unlock. So
his record is 22-17, and it's inflated by that 10-3 season.
Yeah, with Dillon Gabriel.
Yeah, it's sandwiched by 6 and 7 seasons with bowl losses. So
yeah,
it's definitely not the sexiest. I think every Oklahoma fan on earth would probably be fine with firing him if it's another like 6 or 7 win season, I think.
Yeah, when you go from Lincoln Riley to this clown, and you go from winning 3 Heismans in like 5 years with your quarterbacks to whatever the hell they were doing under center last year.
I mean, like you said, they literally could not complete a forward pass.
Yeah. So, and like I said, that's the main reason I have DeBoer and Hot. But lastly, old Sam Pittman, probably one of the most likable coaches in the league, but he's been there since 2019, 2020.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, here's the thing. If you look, Arkansas is not much above like a Vandy, Mississippi State, right? So they're not going to have the higher standards that other schools are going to have. So he's been there since 2020. So in 2020 he went 3-7, which you can understand because it's the COVID year and the SEC only. Then he went 9-4, which is like parade worthy in Fayetteville.
Yeah.
And then he went 7-6, which they accept that. I think the majority of Arkansas fans are just fine with getting to a bowl. 4-8, that's bad. And then 7-6, I think they probably accept that too. I think if he doesn't get to a bowl this year, he's completely toast. If he doesn't win 7 games, he's toast. Unfortunately, I feel like he is kind of in a lose-lose situation here. Like, I don't think there's any good outcome for Pittman because if Arkansas does really good this year, like Taylor Green's coming back, and he was pretty decent. If Taylor Green lights it up and Arkansas, somehow wins 8 or 9 games, Bobby Petrino is going to get all the credit.
Yeah.
And if they lose, he's just going to get fired and replaced by Petrino.
I think there's another name there too. I think it's unlikely, but it is interesting to think about. Rhett Lashley is from Arkansas. Do they throw a bunch of money at him like they did to Cal and see if he'll come to Arkansas?
I mean, that would be a great hire for them.
That would be an astounding hire for them. And I don't know if he'd do it, but it's a possibility. But yeah, I mean, the whole Petrino dynamic's interesting. And Talon's done for sure after this year, right?
Yeah.
So if they go 6-6 again and they're going to be downgrading in quarterback play, assumedly, I think that's enough to do it. Really 5-7. I think if he goes 6-6 again, they might give him another spin of the wheel. But
I mean, here's the thing. So in 2025, they had the 33rd recruiting class in the country, which
that's not bad for Arkansas.
I mean, it's ahead of like Vandy, and I think that's it in the SEC. Yeah, like they're getting out recruited by Mississippi State. I mean,
that's pretty tough.
It could be better. I think Arkansas could be like fringe top 20.
Yeah.
But then again, they've shown absolutely zero willingness to. Their NIL collective has shown zero willingness to invest in football like they do basketball.
And baseball, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like they clearly value basketball and baseball more than football. So you may be right. I mean, they have one of the most respected baseball coaches, even though he's a choker. They have one of the most respected basketball coaches of all time. And then they're trotting out Sam Pittman as their football coach. Like,
yeah, it really shows you which programs they care about. So
yeah, so you might be right. I mean, like he should be on fire. But if they get to a bowl again, he might be fine.
Yeah, I think he's like we said we were going to do it. The least on fire in the on fire list there. Like if we were going waist up, the first 2 are up to their neck. Venables is probably up to his chest, and he's probably mid thigh. I don't think he's too much on fire, as much as the other 3 there. So, any more thoughts on these bozos up here in the top tier?
Yeah, I think we should do a prediction. I think we should do who do you think of all the coaches that are on the list right now, who's not at the current spot this time next year?
Freeze.
Okay.
That would be my number 1 pick just because he has Jackson Arnold. And I would say I'm going to say Brian Kelly. And I know I put him down there, but it's just because of the records and everything from last year. But I think Napier and Venables could save their job before Brian Kelly does. I think.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, just because they're on fire doesn't mean they're going to get fired. Like, they can still redeem it.
Yeah, I think Brian Kelly really has to get to. If they're not hosting a playoff game, and especially if they're like on the road and lose in the first round, he still get fired. Like,
yeah. I think the Underwood thing really pissed a lot of people off. Like, I have that on pretty good authority.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
If I had to put money on it, Freeze, Kelly, and Venables are the three that I'm most confident will not be where they're at this time next year.
Yeah, I mean, and depending on how much you believe in DJ Lagway with Florida's schedule, I would throw Napier really close in there too. In a very, I'll probably put Napier before Venables. If we're going, who's most likely to get fired, it'd be Freeze, Kelly, Napier, Venables for me, just because their schedule is real tough again. So,
which of those jobs that could come available do you think is the most enticing?
LSU. I think LSU has the most resources and it's very easy to succeed there. I mean, Ed Orgeron won a national championship there.
Yeah, it's LSU or Florida for me, just because the recruiting base.
Yeah, I think it's hard to win at Auburn when Alabama's in the same state. Maybe a little easier now with Saban gone, depending on how DeBoer does this year. But Oklahoma seems real hard to me because you're out in the Midwest, and like you said earlier, they're right above Texas. So you're dipping into Texas a lot and hoping they'll come to Oklahoma over the multitude of schools in Texas. So
yeah,
it's just tough.
Of the top tier, the upper tier SEC, like obviously Mississippi State and Vanderbilt are the hardest.
Yeah.
And Kentucky, that's the bottom three. But Missouri's pretty low too. But Oklahoma is definitely the lowest, the hardest, I think, of Auburn, Florida, Tennessee. Oklahoma is much harder than those because how much talent comes from Oklahoma?
Not a ton.
Not much at all.
At least in Missouri, you have a few big cities.
Yeah, you have St. Louis, but there's not a whole lot of football talent coming out of Oklahoma. Most of his people are going to be coming from Texas and Louisiana, which is where every other SEC school recruits from. So,
yeah. So, I don't have much more to say. I think this is a pretty good list. I don't think I'd change anything.
Do you think non-Tennessee fans would have Heupel ice cold?
Yeah. I mean, if you're just looking at what he's done, when how he inherited the program, yeah, I don't think it's ridiculous to say he's ice cold at all. I think you would get more of an argument from within the fan base than from outside the fan base.
100%. I want to know what it would take for a good chunk of the fan base on Twitter to want Heupel fired after this season. It would probably 7 wins would do it.
No. I mean,
dude, do you know our fan base?
You might have the minority that's loud and always miserable wanting it at 7 wins, but I think anything above 6-6, I think most people would not want him fired. I mean, he would definitely be on the hot seat going into 2026, but nobody would want him fired, I don't think.
I can just see the hot takes right now. I can just see it he ran Nico off and got worse. I can just see it.
Well, I said months ago when that happened, if things go wrong, if the quarterback play is not there, I don't want to say he gets a mulligan, but you got to give him some grace for losing his damn quarterback in middle of April. That's tough. But again, it's been 3 years since we've had really good quarterback play. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, not to rehash old stuff, but it's not like the quarterback play was impossible to replace. I mean,
yeah. I mean, for me, The only way I would want him fired is if he puts up like a 4-8. So, and I doubt that happens because he found a way to win games last year with an inept offense at times. I mean, we won 4 games having scored in the 20s, and before last year we'd have won 1 game scoring less than 30 in his first 3 years. So I think he's just an adapter, and I think he's proven that so far. So 4-8 would be a disaster, and I just don't see that happening. So anything, I just what would it take for you to want him fired?
A lot. It would a cataclysmic failure, like 4-8, 5-7. Joey Aguilar throws for 20 interceptions and 13 touchdowns.
Yeah,
I mean, it would have to be horrendous. I mean, I think, like he said, I think he almost has a mulligan no matter what this year. Like,
yeah.
Worst case scenario, he's just getting on the hot seat next offseason.
Yeah, I mean, I also think the 4-8 or 5-7, whatever, would have to include Faison decommitting too for people to want him fired. So, because you can sell hope if Faison's still there, and half the roster is freshmen or redshirt freshmen. It's just I don't see it happening. I don't even think it's worth talking about. Heupel's too good of a coach for that to happen. With the most talented roster you've had, albeit unproven, I just don't see anything less than 7-5 at the absolute worst. So,
yeah, I think this is a perfect list. I'm excited, dude. This is the most excited I've been for football. I say that every year, but I'm super excited. So we've got Heupel there. So just to recap, Kirby, Sark, Heupel, ice cold. Beamer, Lee, Kiffin, Dorkwitz, and lukewarm. Getting warmer is Elko. Hot, DeBoer, Levy, Kelly, Stoops. On fire, Freeze, Napier, Venables, Pittman. If Pittman gets fired, he would be a great offensive line coach.
Yeah, if the O-line's bad, I mean, we'll see. He's been at Tennessee before, so I think the only thing we disagreed on was Kiffin and maybe DeBoer.
Yeah, I think you're a little harsh on DeBoer, but I agree for the most part.
Yeah. All right.
All right,
Anything
go
else,
Vols,
man?
baby. Nope.
Go Vols.